Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our Reacher Season 2, Episode 4 reaction and review.
Hmm.
Who wants to go to a diner with Jack Reacher? Because every time it happens, there's either one or two things that happen. One, you get pie.
Or you don't get pie.
It's it's a real journey of emotions here, everybody. It's either going great or it's going really, really not great. Though at the same time, that fight scene at the end was pretty great.
Here's the biggest question I have for you guys. Talking Heads, Road to Nowhere or Psycho Killer? I say Psycho Killer. I love that song and I love how they use music in the show.
Okay, I gotta say Psycho Killer too.
It's so
There's
good.
no disagreement here. I don't know why you guys even having the debate sitting around this table. Now this episode was really fun. It had everything that I think any Reacher fan should want, which
Including Finlay. Finlay was
yes.
back. He's wearing his tweed. He's still spinning his ring. I was so happy to see him. I can't even tell you.
I got to take a moment to talk about how big of a dum dum I was watching this episode because it's just like, oh, they're in Boston. Oh, that's cool. Me sitting here, not even thinking for a second that Finley's gonna show back up. For some reason, I was just too transfixed by all of the potential carnage that was coming that I didn't even think about a callback.
I was so excited when he was like, I'm going to call a friend. I was like, please be Finlay. Please be Finlay. Please be Finlay.
I don't know why. I just didn't see it coming.
He's just such a great character. And I knew that, of course, going into season 2, we were going to be moving away from some of the characters from season 1. He's in a different place, everything that's going on. But I was just like, man, I would love to see Finlay come back in some way, shape, or form. And the way that they used him in this episode was beautiful.
Okay, so before we do go any further here, hit that subscribe button. We are a good chunk of the way through Reacher. In my opinion, we're too far of the way through Reacher. Why can't this be 200 episodes? But anyway, that is the best way, subscribing, that you make sure you don't miss any other updates we have coming up here. By doing that, you help to support us to be able to continue to do what we love to do here so much.
Every week, we also have live streams talking all about Reacher, and that's over at our Patreon. I'll link that for you below.
Okay, so really, the Finley reveal is the best moment of this episode to me, just because it is.
Easily.
Yeah, it's kind of warm and nostalgic. It brings us back to watching this show to the first time, and I always love watching Reacher with people who are not like Reacher in any shape or form, and yet they're still able to find some sort of common ground because Reacher's this mammoth guy who travels everywhere, doesn't follow by the rules. You look at Finley, who tries at least to be a rule follower and is very buttoned up, and yet they still have really good chemistry together.
So does him and Neely. I know that that's not a thing that's going to happen, really, but it's always fun sort of seeing them together where they're kind of flirting a little bit, not really, but there's a really fun back and forth with them.
I think some of it just comes down to the idea that Reacher is such like a one in a million person, and
Yes.
it's not just because they're comparing him to a kaiju in this episode, but it's also just because of the fact that who lives like this? Who throws away their clothes and is just like, I'm just gonna wear this suit, and I'm just sitting here being like, you don't even like suits, so as soon as this mission is over, you're gonna have to go and buy some other clothes again, Reacher.
That whole scene where he's talking about if he, keeps his shirt, he keeps his pants, and he's going to have to get a suitcase, and he's going to have to get a car, and he's going to have to put it in a house. I was just like, that is kind of how it all ends up happening, right? Like you
Yeah.
get too much stuff and then you have to get a thing to put it all in, then you have to get a thing to put that thing in. It's true. He takes it to an extreme, but it's true.
I'm not super familiar with the source material, so I don't know what
No.
happens with Jack Reacher there, but just within this show, I hope they do resist temptation to, try to change or evolve him too much, because I think a part of what makes him so unique is this is who he is. He does not seem to be a guy who's really that unhappy with his life. He likes being this sort of wayward drifter, and maybe slowly we can kind of build some stuff up with him. Maybe in 3 seasons he can have like a plastic bag with a couple of shirts in it, and then at that point I'll be okay.
Yeah, that's the thing that I really like about this character is he feels very confident in who he is and how he lives his life and he likes what he's doing.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are like that are like, yeah, I'm really comfortable in my life and I like the way that it's going sort of thing. But on TV, we usually do see some sort of evolvement of the character, even if they're very set in their ways, like NCIS with Gibbs. By
Yeah.
the last few seasons, he was really changing his ways a little bit, like enough that was like, oh, there's a lot of change going on here for
Yeah.
this guy. That isn't really what I'm watching this show for. It's nice to have a character that's really established like this, who feels good about the way that he's living and doesn't necessarily need to go on a huge journey. Now, could he let more people in emotionally on that kind of a journey? Sure. And
Yeah.
I think that he does to some degree, but like listen, it's only season 2,
Yeah.
we're going to move it along.
Okay. The big other question out of this, beyond just how awesome was it to see Finlay again, is what's happening with Swan? Okay.
Oh my goodness, Swan. It was really interesting to see how Reacher just defended him till the end of time. To be like, nope, no way. He's not dirty. He's not doing anything bad. You guys are all crazy. Why are you even thinking about this? And they were like, remember that time that we did this huge drug bust and then one of the gills just went missing. We don't know what happened to it. Oh, it just happens to be under his seat. Oopsie. While he was just talking about like, man, one of these would be like all of our salaries for like a year. Like, what am I doing with my life? It's just like, obviously they're setting it up that he's a bit sort of morally ambiguous at this point, that, did he actually keep that? Did he not? Did it fall? Did he maybe think about it and then was like, you know what? This isn't for me. We don't know yet.
I'm sure he probably thought about it on some level, just because I feel like a lot of people in that position, you might at least have like a dark thought that enters your head at some point. It doesn't mean you act on it. I think a lot of people are inherently good, but there's always going to be temptations. And here's the thing about Swan in the present. Reacher believes in this guy so much that for the sake of the entertainment and for the sake of this show, I will cling on to Reacher's belief system with dear life here. And if Reacher goes down, if he is sinking, I will sink with him. And because he is bigger than me, he will sink first. And I will swim to the surface.
That's
but no,
so dark.
This show is dark. No, but listen, I believe in what Reacher is saying right now. That I think that if, for whatever reason, Swan has done something dirty or has done something, below board, I think it's probably because he was forced to do so and he doesn't really have much of a choice.
It's possible. I mean, the thing that Reacher's not sort of, I guess, taking into consideration is that, he was like, I wouldn't have brought him in the group if I thought that he was capable of this. And it's like, okay, anybody's capable of anything. People are people, right? You're put in a desperate situation. Nobody knows what anybody's going to do. But we're so many years later, and he's making it out to be that people don't change or that people don't end up in situations where they will make different decisions. Like most people just don't stay as the same person from, their 20s to 30s to 40s to 50s, etc. You grow. That, at least that's the hope in life, right?
Yeah, I tend to think so. And it's very much possible that someone like Swan is, when you consider especially that he is assistant director of security under Shane, who is pretty clearly the I am the director, I am the evil person that is going on right now.
That's right. He's a T-1000.
Yeah, I mean, how can he not be? But okay, to try to simplify what the show is giving us here, which is the typical sort of, here's an action movie, we need to have a plot, I guess, so here it is. There is this like advanced anti-missile software that different people are wanting because if it falls into the wrong hands,
Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly. And as it turns out, New Age very much seems to be the wrong hands. And with that, we now have, they're trying to do whatever they're trying to do. You got Team Reacher over here and the 1/10 trying to do what they're going to do. And then it all culminates with the battle scene, which is both insanely, I not even remotely realistic, but at the same time, I enjoyed every second of it.
It's so satisfying to watch this show specifically for these action sequences. Like, the only time I ever feel like an action hero is going into like a public bathroom where, I have to like kick the door in because I don't want to touch it and like drop kick the flush and like elbow the hand washing machine. It's just like, you never get to do that in life.
See, to me, it's when the lawnmower doesn't like go on properly when you're trying to pull a string, and then I'm just like, "Rah!" And for that 1 second, I'm like the Hulk. Listen, we are clearly not of the Jack Reacher persuasion, and with that, any fight scene would seem unrealistic to us.
Yep.
We would instantly drop dead. But I think the real
It was so good though. That scene at the end was amazing.
it was great. And the real point of clarity here is mostly that this is how far New Age is willing to go to
Mhm.
ensure that their plan is a success, to the point where they're clearly making sure they know where Reachers is at just about every time, that they have people kind of constantly watching, trying to figure this out. I mean, we talked in a little bit in the first 3 episodes about, could there be some sort of mole in this operation? Is there some sort of information being handed back and forth? I still don't want it, but I don't think we can completely remove it from the table.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? O'Donnell, he's still my guy that I think just might be dirty. I mean, he said that one of the things that he, has a specialty in is having people's secrets and
Mhm.
squeezing people for their secrets. I still think it's really shady that he showed up in Neely's hotel room after it was trashed and was like, I don't know how this happened. Who could have done it? There's only me here. Like, I don't know what it is. There's just something about him that makes me feel like he might be some of the inside information because it's just like, how in the world did Shane know that they were going to be there at that place to send all those bikers and to have that amazing fight scene? It's just like somebody maybe made a text or a call, like, right? I don't know, man. I really hope I take an L on that. I really don't want it to be the team.
I'm already taking an L. That's not an L. This is an L. I'm already taking an L on my Dixon theory because
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that's just completely dead now. Like I feel like you're probably right. If it's somebody on the team, it's O'Donnell. It's just because Dixon goes through all of this trouble in this episode to go to the opera, the most drama I've seen at the opera since the Gilded Age ended. And while there, she had this she spent some time with Boyd, got Boyd outside. There's a lot of work to go through with
Yes.
somebody in Boyd who's already tied to Boyd to like be able to like double agent your way through this entire situation. I guess it's possible. It just feels like you're doing a lot in order to gain their trust at that point.
She is, but when we met her, she was deep undercover. So, I mean, if she's really good at deep undercover work, could she be undercover here as well? Yeah.
It would be really funny if I had it right and then I jumped off of it and then I was completely wrong and I made this big show about it.
Listen, it's all just fun, man. What are your guys' theories? Do you
Yeah.
guys think that anybody on Reacher's team now is doing them dirty? Let us know in the comments.
Okay, let's talk about Mr. the AM guy, which the AM guy sounds like a name of like a weatherman on a morning show that you tune into. Hey there, folks, want to find out the weather in Minnesota? Like the AM guy on this show, he wants he goes in there claiming he
Mhm.
wants a new face, then he just takes everybody out.
Absolutely. He wanted a new face. He saw this doctor on a billboard, was like, we look alike. I'll just go and steal his identity, which is exactly what happened. So we know that he's now on his way and now he's the doctor.
Yeah, and we heard from this episode that Colorado, as it turns out, that's where there is another new age facility. And so clearly the pieces are starting to fall into place a little bit.
Mhm.
There was a part of me that was like, okay, can we get a little bit more grounding when it comes to the AM guy and his story? But then there's something very kind of exciting and captivating about having like this mysterious adversary who you don't know that much about, but you
Yeah.
know is extremely dangerous.
Yeah. Like Munch over on Fargo. It's
Yeah.
just like he's so dangerous and you don't know what he's going to do because you don't really know anything about him.
Yeah, and I think it's clear at this point that the show's going to move pretty fast, and we're going to get some sort of dramatic showdown with a lot of these people. The big question to me is it just going to be a mano of Reacher versus AM guy? Like, on the surface, I think it's pretty clear who the favorite is going to be in that showdown, but AM guy's he's pretty resourceful. He'll do a lot in order to get the job done.
He's really resourceful and he seems like he's a trained killer. So, I mean, if that's the case, yeah, punch for punch, maybe not. But, AM really does seem to get the jump on people and he knows exactly where to hit. We saw that with the doctor where he was just like, yeah, I've hit you right in this place and you're a doctor, so you know what's happening to you and now you're dead. I was just like, oh wow, that's he seems that he's extremely knowledgeable in killing people. So, he may have dealt with people that are sizable in the past. We don't know anything about him.
Yeah, and for now, that's a part of the fun. We'll see if it changes. I do like this season trying so hard to be really different from season one. Like it's really broad in scope. We're not just in Margrave. We're in like all these different states. There's like multiple ones, even within the scope of this one episode. And you're bringing back people from the past. Like, do I still have some questions about the quality of police training on this show? Yes, because Russo is still driving me completely crazy with this. I told you not to be a cowboy.
Okay, listen, I'm just going to put my hard
Uh,
hat on for all the Russo fans out there. This character doesn't need to be here at all. Like, I don't need to see the bumbling cop that can't get in control of Reacher. I mean, like, I don't need it. It's the part of the show that feels like it's the weakest to me at this point. Like, I understand that Reacher probably needs him for a couple of resources, but now that Finley's back in
yeah.
that kind of way, he could have called Finley.
Well, that's the thing. This show has proven already that they can have good cops and they can have characters here who are smart and layered and will challenge Reacher. And, maybe Russo will get there. It's just the problem is if they do make it so that this character gets there, it's going to be a question of, okay, were they just terrible the first half of this season by chance? Are they usually like this? Is there enough time to even evolve them?
I couldn't care less about Russo. I'm not sorry. I couldn't. Like, anytime he's on screen, I'm like, you're just taking away time from my group, and I need to know what is going on and is O'Donnell dirty or not.
Yeah, it's just like there's so many other interesting mysteries right now. Like I would presume that either Swan is like completely out in the wind or he's being
Mhm.
stored somewhere. I mean, it seems like on some level there's money being thrown around all over the place. I mean, we saw the
Mhm.
money that was at Marlowe's, but then the question there is, well, why did Marlowe not take the money? And it could be a situation where there are some people that are just like, okay, let's just pay these people off. We
Mhm.
we want to make sure we can bury the problem this way. But then we have other people that are just like, no, we need to literally bury the problem, as in bury all of these people in the ground.
Well, that is the interesting thing about Swan. I mean, we talked a little bit about this earlier where Reacher's like, no, he can't be dirty. There can't be. That
Yeah,
we then saw that he was having these more private coded emails about things that were not including Shane or anybody else. So is he kind of just stuck in a bad situation where he feels desperate and he had to do something desperate and now he's regretting it. He's trying to find another way around it. And that kind of feels like where we might get to, where it's like the team is right
yeah.
that Swan did do something bad, but Reacher's also right that it's like, well, he wouldn't have wanted to. It might be something he was forced into, or he was in a really desperate situation that he just could not find another way out of. So this is what he did.
I just want to know why he ended up with this group in the first place. Like, is this a case of somebody with a military background who's just, he sees this company and it's like, okay, this is my chance to continue to make a difference, to do good
Yeah.
things. And then you get in there and you're just like, oh no, these are not good things. There's no good things. I'm working for Robert Patrick. Like, there's a lot of, really dangerous stuff going on here. Like you said, then maybe at that point, you just don't have that much of an escape.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I mean, this season is really, really fun. If you love season one, like, how can you not enjoy season two? It's giving you literally everything I would want Reacher to give, which is escapism,
Mhm.
entertainment, and a little bit of humor in there.
I loved season one, but season two so far, I mean, like, it is better than season one. And I mean, season one was great.
All right, we're going to take off to a diner now. Hopefully, we're getting the pie as opposed to the no pie.
And some talking heads.
There you go. All right, well, hit that subscribe button. That is the best way to support us. We don't want you to miss any more Reacher coverage. Also, thank you to our patrons for
Thank
your
you.
support. That means a lot, and we'll see you guys here next time.